Hi there, it's Dana Shay with danashay.com, and I wanted to just share an encouraging message on something that I learned through my son tonight. You know, so many times God uses my children to teach me lessons and to teach me powerful revelations about the kind of God that He is and the kind of Father that He is. And many of you, maybe you've been on my blog and you've read kind of my background, but I did not grow up with my natural father. And so learning God as Father has been, a journey for me. I don't have that kind of natural, correlation to relate Him to. And so anyway, tonight what happened was I was at church, and we go to church on Saturday night. We're not Seventh-day Adventists or anything like that, but our church has multiple services over the weekend, and Saturday night just happens to work out for us. And so we were at church tonight, and my little boys are running around, having a good time. People were starting to kind of clear out. But, I said, hey, guys, you need to stop running. You need to stop running. Hey, stop running. Somebody's going to get hurt. Hey, stop running. And every mother on the video watching this, you know exactly what I'm about to say, what happened. And so, of course, just a few moments later, I hear, ah! And it's my 3-year-old, and he's fallen, and he has hurt himself. And so I go over to him, and I pick him up, and I'm comforting him, and I'm telling him, patting his back, it's going to be okay, mommy's here, what's going on, and I'm trying to look and see if anything's broken or out of place or, bleeding. And of course he was fine. But, that little example just showed me such a wonderful truth about God as Father. And, so many times God will tell us, He'll warn us that we need to stop doing something. He'll say, you need to get out of that relationship, you need to stop doing that, don't go there, don't talk to that person, don't do this. And He'll continue to remind us. He'll remind us in His Word. He'll send somebody along our path to kind of, challenge us in an area. And for whatever reason, we just keep doing it until we fall flat on our faces and until we're broken or hurt. And then God's got our full attention. But you know what is so wonderful about God? Is that He doesn't lead with chastisement. He leads with comfort. He leads with compassion. And that doesn't mean that I didn't still have to tell my son, hey, mommy told you not to run, because if you would have listened, you would not have fallen down. I did say that, but I didn't start there. I had to make sure that he was okay first. I had to make sure that he knew that I loved him and that he was safe now and it was okay. And so, I just want to encourage you tonight. Maybe you're in a relationship with someone, be it a spouse or a friend or someone that you work with, and it just seems like, they just don't get it. They're just making all these stupid decisions. Maybe they walked away from the Lord. Maybe they're running from Him. They never came to Him in the first place. And you're getting discouraged and you're getting quite irritated and wondering, why can't they just see? Why do they continue to run around in circles? And you know what's going to happen. You know that they're going to fall. But I'll just encourage you that, sometimes it takes people falling flat on their faces in order for God to get their attention and in order for them to say, oh, I need to stop doing that. And so sometimes it takes people much longer than others. And in that situation, I could have done two things. Like I said, I could have chosen to lead with discipline and popped him or said, I told you shouldn't be running. Or I could have done what God has helped me to grow into doing, which is I led with compassion. And I hugged him and I let him know, hey, it's okay. And this reminded me tonight of the parable of the prodigal son. And that story, the parable, parable of the prodigal son isn't necessarily all about the son as much as it's about the father, as much as it's God's way of teaching us what kind of father He is. And if you notice that when the son came back, the father didn't say, stand there with his hands on his hips or with his arms crossed on his porch saying, yeah, it took you long enough. What took you so long? Where have you been? Where's all my money? He didn't say any of that stuff. As a matter of fact, he threw him a party. He lavished his love on his son because his son was lost and now he was found. And so that's the kind of God that we serve, is that, He doesn't overlook sin. He doesn't say, oh, that's not a big deal. Oh, it is a big deal. But He'll deal with that later. So many times we forget why people fall into sin in the first place, why we ourselves fall into sin in the first place. I choose to believe that most people are not, bad people. Now, hear me when I say that. Yes, I know that everyone is born with a sin nature. I do understand that. But what I mean by that is I don't believe that it is people's intent to hurt other people, for the most part. I mean, obviously there's sick people out there, but for the most part, think about the people that you love. Think about the last time that they hurt you. It was most likely not their intent to do that. But what happened was that there's some sort of a shut-off, and they're continuing to run around in circles doing things that are harmful not only to themselves but to other people. And so I just want to encourage you, how do you deal with somebody like that? Well, you have to pray for them. You have to pray that God would turn the light on in their lives. And then you have to step back. Because the thing I love about that prodigal son story is that the father never went chasing after the son. He didn't. They were obviously affluent. And he could have. He could have gone and looked for the son, and he could have gone and hired people. He didn't. He allowed the son to come to himself, and I love it. The Bible actually, my translation, I read from the New Living Translation, it says that when the son came to himself, when he realized, oh my gosh, what am I doing? I have everything I need at my father's house, and I'm out here, in the pig pen. He had to come to himself. And so there'll be times in our lives when it seems like people just aren't getting it, and it's so frustrating. But be encouraged that God knows exactly how much pressure to apply in order to get them to come to themselves. So I pray that this has been an encouragement to you. Please feel free to visit my blog at danashay.com. And if you like this message, you can see many, many more of them by simply subscribing to my YouTube channel. I hope you have a wonderful day. See you on the next video.